Well, with that, we move on to the next session, which is on the future of brand building with content, which will be jointly presented by Apoorva Dutt, Content Strategist, APAC, BBC StoryWorks, BBC Global News, and Ankita Bakshi, Creative Solutions Production Executive, BBC StoryWorks, BBC Global News. Apoorva and Ankita, over to you.
Thank you, Ivan. At BBC StoryWorks, we believe that effective content marketing is about telling a story that is emotive and engaging. Good evening, everyone. I am Ankita Bakshi, and I lead BBC StoryWorks in India, the BBC Global News' commercial content division. I've been in this role for over 3 years now, so I've been involved in connecting and engaging with audiences through great storytelling. We are a team of collaborative, passionate storytellers from around the world, and we truly believe that one of the best ways for brands to connect with audiences they want to reach is through compelling, authentic storytelling. The idea of wanting authentic content by a credible publisher has always existed, but has never been as important as the last year. In this time of uncertainty, people are looking for reliable and trusted storytelling. And that's exactly what BBC StoryWorks provides its brands and audiences with. As the world went into lockdown, we saw an overnight change in the way content is produced and consumed. Our research and insights allowed us in being proactive with our responses. We predicted trends that would thrive in the new normal, and we went out into the market with a deeper understanding of our clients' visions to show them our way forward. Through this, not only did we create content that was sensitive to global hardships, but also learned a plethora of new ways to create and execute content. Pandemic or not, we are now armed with the execution techniques that have allowed us to broaden our arsenal and continue creating premium, cutting-edge content through digital and social executions, as well as animated films to put forward meaningful messages. We'll now play a heartwarming film for you all that we produced for the United Nations during the lockdown.
Someone out there loves you. Someone out there is lonely too. They may not know it, they may be trying to tell you, and you may not know till you pass on the street. Your head's turned, your eyes lock, and you feel complete. Someone out there loves you.
A great example of us taking this change in our stride and continue making content that has had the same impact that previous on-ground execution techniques did, I'd like to invite my colleague Apoorva to showcase our inspiring content campaign, Singapore Memories, that we created for the National Arts Council of Singapore.
Thank you so much for that lovely explanation of our work, Ankita. Thank you, everyone. So as Ankita said, I'm going to take 5 minutes of your time today to quickly run through one of BBC StoryWorks' most exciting campaigns of the previous year, and I'd like to explain why that is the case. So this campaign was executed in partnership with Singapore's National Arts Council, which is a government body here. We feel that this case study really highlights how our organization has not only adapted to the challenges of a pandemic world, but also used this time as an opportunity to enhance our digital offerings, especially in a time when audiences are looking for this kind of connection with each other and their communities. So just to give you some background on this, 3 months before the pandemic struck, BBC StoryWorks was approached by the National Arts Council to create an innovative campaign that showcased the Singaporean art world to a global audience of art lovers and patrons. For this, the council wanted us to go beyond the usual digital offerings. Towards this, we had proposed a digital and on-ground combination that allowed our audiences to engage digitally as well as on-ground with artworks that would be created and executed across the city. But as we all know, in March 2020, it became a very different story. Not only did our execution options change, but the brief changed as well. On-ground executions were now completely off the table, and our client now needed to reach out to and care for a creative community that had been left financially stranded due to the lockdown constraints. Here's how we were able to pivot and meet those challenges and meet our expectations as well. So the first way was that we were able to pivot from an on-ground execution to a digital one. We did not want this pivot to result in our execution suffering in any way. So we diversified how we were executing this digitally with 3 stages of execution: a pre-campaign digital crowdsourcing, a digital content hub with the artworks we were creating, and a post-campaign engagement stage as well. Second, we strengthened our post-campaign engagement with the creation of augmented reality filters, which our audience could view, interact with, and share with others as well. And finally, because of the unique requirements of our client as a government body, we were also able to collaborate with them to create a bespoke deal structure that prioritized the benefits to the artists, ensuring that the funds were being returned to them and maximized. So if we go on to the next slide, you can see some examples of our social media outreach posts. This was the first stage of our campaign. This stage allowed us to engage our audience not just as viewers, but as stakeholders in the content that we would go on to create, because they would see their memories reflected in the artworks we would create. Our audience shared some of their fondest memories of Singapore, submitting photos from their childhood. Some of their favorite hawker meal photos were submitted. We had people writing to us about the games they would play with their classmates, or even teenagers writing to us about their favorite record stores. We then used these immense number of submissions that we got to engage with 30 local artists to create artworks for a digital hub, which we can see in the next slide. We engage artists across disciplines and age groups in Singapore, focusing on bringing up some of the most exciting and innovative artists to our platform. We worked with our UK design and product team to create a digital art gallery experience, one that many of us did not have access to during the lockdown and the previous year. These were all executed in one seamless user experience. The artworks were also accompanied by a summary of their approach, some of their inspiration materials, drafts of their artworks as well, which led to a really fluid and interesting interaction between the viewer and the artist. And finally, as we can see in the next slide, we created multiple Instagram filters for a post-campaign engagement exercise. It really brought the whole campaign to a complete 360, starting with the crowdsourcing, going to the content hub, and ending here. The audience was really able to engage and view the artworks and share it with their friends. We worked with the local interactive media agency, and these AR filters were engaged with millions of times, each time having our clients' branding as well as our branding being viewed every single time that it was shared or seen. So to summarize, what we've seen through this campaign is that, yes, the previous year has had its challenges, and we do anticipate these challenges going on as we go. But these have also been accompanied by a new set of opportunities. Our audience has never craved the kind of storytelling that BBC StoryWorks is the foremost expert at, and we are ready to deliver. So thank you so much for listening, and I'm going to hand it back to Ankita now.
Thank you, Apoorva. Now moving on from art to travel. With travel and tourism coming to a complete halt across the globe, we were actually pleasantly surprised to see that our travel enthusiast readers were still consuming tourism-related content just to keep the spirit of wanderlust alive. And this raised our curiosity. So we decided to dive deep and understand what the audiences actually needed. With many young adventurous travelers who were eager to leave their country, but they lacked the information on where and when they wanted to travel. For those who were curious to return to travel, just did not want to read about facts, but wanted to explore and dream through content. And eager to explore a new world, this audience was actively seeking out advice from the BBC and brands and on how to navigate through. Thus, BBC Travel, in partnership with IATA, has designed an exclusive BBC Travel product, Explore a New World. This is equal parts inspiring and actionable. This comprehensive tool allows audiences to search for content about where they can travel from their home destination, detailed information on their selected destination about travel restriction, inspiring BBC travel stories, and all of this is going to be supplemented by user-generated social content by our current travelers. We not only saw a change in the way the world traveled, but also how people worked and did businesses across the board. On-ground thought leadership events turned into webinars. Hope you're staying positive and testing negative became the new universal greeting. With these new trends taking the world by storm, we needed to create something to differentiate ourselves from the pack, and thus came into being Accenture's The New Normal. The core idea behind The New Normal was to discuss how AI and technology have changed the world as we know it, and how people can navigate through this era of new. We used a multimedia approach to engage our audiences in detailed topics through attention-grabbing and informative visuals. We adopted a new way of putting out technology-driven stories by creating a series of dynamic articles and an animated infographic with a futuristic theme. Through stunning interactive graphics, we provided our audiences with concise information about important topics under one heading. Our vision of creating thought leadership pieces through multimedia content was deemed a success by our engagement numbers. This reaffirmed our belief that great stories teamed with stunning visuals are a sure shot recipe for success. I personally believe that the most important factors in driving consideration towards a brand is trusted storytelling that caters specifically to the audience's wants. This ideology is something we hold true and close in all of our work and are extremely proud of. On that note, I would like to show you all a video about what this means to us firsthand.
It's about where it began.
Curiosity is one of the driving forces of mankind.
The Earth, it is just absolutely, indescribably, breathtakingly beautiful.
New York is not just a place, it's an idea. There's every kind of experience you could possibly have. There's every kind of person you could hope to meet.
When I travel, it's very important to go out and come back with a fresh mind, to get inspired again for creativity.
Ultimately, it is a journey driven by curiosity and exploration.
I'm a teacher by nature. I found myself and I found that new beginning.
By sharing, we together can change the world.
I can be free. I can go and do whatever I want.
Any human being can take humanity forward to a brighter future than we've ever experienced in history.
We understand that it's been a challenging year for all of us, but at BBC StoryWorks, no matter what the global hardships are, we're always prepared to help you write your brand story and take it forward. Thank you all and hope you enjoyed the evening. Over to you, Evan.